Shocking new tape of Toronto Mayor Rob Ford has surfaced, allegedly capturing him clutching a crack cocaine pipe, making crude anti-gay remarks. The video was viewed by two reporters at the Globe and Mail, and what you're looking at are still pictures from the Gawker website. You can see in his hand the so-called crack pipe. And as if that wasn't enough, the Toronto Star obtained audio tape of Rob Ford going on a homophobic rant against raising the rainbow flag in support of gay rights during the Sochi Olympics, and then making sexually crude remarks about a female rival candidate for the mayor's chair. She's standing by, Karen Stintz. But take a listen to that.
How about Karen Stintz?
I'd like to jam her, but I can't talk to you in front of your mic.
Reaction has been pouring in fast and furious. Ford himself issued a statement announcing he was taking a, quote, time out to attend rehab for his addictions. Let me show you what he had to say. Ford said, quote, I have a problem with alcohol, doesn't mention drugs, with alcohol, and the choices I have made while under the influence. I've struggled with this for some time. Today, after taking some time to think about my own well-being and how to best serve the people of Toronto and what's in the best interest of my family, I've decided to take a leave from campaigning and from my duties as mayor to seek immediate help. So is this the last straw after a string of controversies over drugs, booze, erratic behavior, and now these lewd comments? Can Ford survive this after he gets out of rehab? Will this guy try to make a political comeback? We got a lot of reaction tonight. But we're going to begin with the woman who is at the center of this latest rant, mayoral candidate, one-time Ford supporter, Karen Stintz. She is the subject of the mayor's rant. Joining me now, Karen Stintz, Toronto City Councillor, Toronto mayoral candidate. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Just before we get into the very personal stuff, this all broke late last night. Reports of the new video of Rob Ford allegedly smoking crack from a long copper-colored pipe last week, and then obviously the video, especially about you. Just your reaction here.
Well, when I first heard, I was shocked and embarrassed, and I thought, oh my goodness, what is this? And you know, his comments are disgusting, and I just think when I think about Toronto and our great city, Rob Ford does not represent Toronto, and for me, I think it's so important that people do come out and vote on October 27th, because the people who sent Rob Ford to office are the only ones that can remove him from the job. Mm-hmm. And when I think about our city and how great it is, as I say, Rob Ford does not represent our city. This became
personal. I mean, and I know there's a mayoral campaign, and we'll get to that because the personal and the political have become an issue in this campaign. But I want just listen to this audio obtained by the Toronto Sun that when he refers to you. Check this out.
How about Karen Stintz?
I'd like to jam her, but I can't talk to you in front of your mic.
He says he'd like to expletive jam you, which is, I guess that's the intercourse. When you hear that, the mayor of the city talking about you in those terms, what's your reaction? Not just as a politician, frankly, but as a mother.
Well, yeah, again, as a mother, this morning I had to sit down with my children who were going to school and explain to them that the mayor had said something mean about mommy. And I don't know what kind of conversations my kids are going to have in the schoolyard today, but I certainly know the ones they've been having over the last 8 months. And it is a discussion about what is crack cocaine, what is trafficking, what are drugs. Mm-hmm. And these are conversations I'm having with my children. And I figured I would have them, but I didn't think I'd have to have them because of our mayor. And when I think about this great city, I can't, it's so hard for me to believe. And Toronto is so much better. Rob Ford is not Toronto.
I mean, you were once a supporter of Rob Ford. What do you think this says about his attitudes? Let's first talk about it towards women, towards you.
Well, certainly it was disappointing for him to hear him speak in those terms about a colleague. But he also speaks in those terms about other races, about gays, about homosexuals, about women. And at some point you begin to wonder, who is the real Rob Ford? And
well, who is it? I mean, he made homophobic remarks. He made disparaging remarks about Italians. He's done the Jamaican patois that many people found offensive. I mean, I don't know. Well, people are sugarcoating it, but is it fair to say he's homophobic? He's anti-women. He's got racist. I mean, are those terms too strong to use about Rob Ford?
They are not too strong to use about Rob Ford. His comments are misogynistic. They are and it's bigotry, and it is not representative of our city. And Rob Ford is not Toronto, and that's why it is so important that everybody recognizes that the only way to get Rob Ford out of office is to vote him out of office.
His brother, Doug Ford, has said he's going to get treatment. We don't know where. And then Norm Kelly, the deputy mayor who's now taken over the mayoral responsibilities, has said he hopes that Rob Ford goes, gets treatment, recovers, and comes back. In your mind, let's say he gets treatment for his addictions, whatever they are, alcohol or drugs. He's only admitted alcohol, but let's say whatever his series of addictions issues are, he gets treatment. Would you welcome him back in council?
Only Rob Ford can decide if he's going to run for re-election. Council has stripped him from his powers. We've taken a number of measures to limit his authority because he's not a good mayor. And he doesn't set a good example for our children, and he doesn't reflect the values of this city. But if he chooses to run again, he chooses to run again, and then it's up to the people of Toronto. And I'm inspired by the people of Toronto. In this campaign, I have been out to every neighborhood, and I've talked to people, and the level of support that I have received from the people of Toronto has just been tremendous.
Has this become a political issue, Karen Stintz, for you? I mean, listen, you're in campaign mode, and I get it. It's a very hotly contested campaign. Has this issue in the last 24 hours become a campaign? Will this be part of your campaign?
No, it's interesting. This is not a campaign issue at all. Because I have people reaching out across the spectrum to show their support and to say that maybe they're not going to vote for me, but they don't think those comments are acceptable. Not just about me, but about women, but about homosexuals, but about, and again, all the other groups that the mayor has said hateful comments towards. And so it's actually been, from my perspective, again, an inspiration to me to see the outreach that's taken place across the city, because Torontonians do not stand for this kind of behavior.
You talked about your kids a lot and what they're going to face today in the schoolyard, and I know you haven't seen them yet, but after school today when you talk to them, how much of this are you going to talk to them about?
Well, I want to be open with them, and I explained to them when I signed up to run for mayor, I brought them with me because I wanted them to see the journey that I was on. I certainly never expected that they would be confronted with this. I never expected the mayor to be talking in those terms about me as a colleague and as a woman. But I've said to my children, this is what's happened. If you have any questions, please make sure that you talk to me about it, because, again, running for public office, I'm doing it because I believe that our city needs a mayor. But I also, I don't believe that what the mayor has said and his actions are reflective of this city.
Karen, since I got to leave it there, I appreciate your time today. You're at the center, obviously, of a huge political story. And in a way, frankly, we've honestly never seen another politician talked about in those terms. And I appreciate your perspective today. Thanks.
Thank you very much.